Free National Movement calls for Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray to resign. Carnival Cruise Line set to restart its service in Grand Bahama. Trade unionist John Pinder upset over the rehiring process at Sandals. Plus, the government says it's closer than ever to implementing a unified bus system. Welcome to Our News. I'm Dana Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight, opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis today calling for the resignation of Agriculture Minister V. Alfred Gray over his decision to give the go-ahead to continue discussions on a $2.1 billion China-Bahamas agriculture and fisheries initiative. Now, although Gray indicated nothing is set in stone just yet, the proposal calls for the lease of 10,000 acres of Crown land to 100 companies jointly owned by Bahamian and Chinese entities. Calling on Gray to be removed from cabinet, Minnis said it's clear the country cannot have someone in such an important position who is so willing to sell out the Bahamian people at every turn.
The PLP government must finally act. We stand today with the people and call for Minister V. Alfred Gray to resign.
Addressing a room full of F&M supporters at the party's Mackey Street headquarters, Minnis charged the country is in deep trouble, and he called on the Prime Minister to cease and desist any deal that would give away the people's land, heritage, birthright, fishing grounds, and sovereignty.
But if this under-the-table deal is allowed to stand, only the Chinese will benefit. We must not, under any circumstances, we must not allow these negotiations to go on.
Accusing Gray of working secretly with China against the interests of the Bahamian people, Minnis said rather than bargaining away our land and water to its foreign overlords, it's high time this government starts approving Crown land applications from Bahamians.
During his term in office, the Prime Minister and his PLP government have kowtowed, bowed, and scraped to the Chinese overlords from time and time again. But this time, he and his minister have gone too far.
Minnis said Gray has lost touch with the people and has lost their trust.
To give away our people's rights, resources, land, and birthright for a bowl of porridge is despicable and unacceptable.
Minnis said the F&M will do everything in its power to stop this Christie administration from giving away acres of Crown land and fishing grounds to foreign states.
We in the opposition stand unified with the people, completely opposed to this giveaway. And we put the Chinese government on notice that upon election to office, the Free National Government, the Free National Movement government will immediately and vigorously review and cancel any secret agreement or deal which proposes to give away our land or rights to our fishing grounds to theirs or any foreign governments.
In March of last year, the F&M had called on Gray to resign from cabinet after allegations arose that Gray interfered in a judicial matter. Gray was relieved of his local governance portfolio, but the Attorney General's office determined there was no need to pursue legal action against Gray, citing the conflicting nature of the evidence. He stayed in cabinet as Minister of Agriculture. In other news tonight, some good news for the Grand Bahama economy. Tourism Minister Obi Wilchcombe announced Carnival Cruise Lines will once again begin its service to that island starting tomorrow. It's the cruise line's first trip since Hurricane Matthew devastated communities on that island, forcing hotel closures and leaving many voicing concern about the future of Grand Bahama's fragile economy.
Carnival in particular will begin its service back to Grand Bahama on Monday next, which is the 7th of November. That's very good because we have the Valeria still doing daily runs, but we have not had any service from Carnival or Norwegian after the hurricane, and of course the Celebration, which also contributes to overnight visit account. They've moved into Bimini for the next several months because the Grand Lucayan is closed.
Prime Minister Christie last Tuesday expressed concern about tourism and employment in Grand Bahama after consideration was given to keep two major hotels on that island, the Memories Beach Resort and the Lighthouse Point, closed for at least 6 months. Wilchcombe noted the storm also forced another hotel in the west to close.
In West Grand Bahama, of course, you have the Old Bahama Bay. They will be out for a while because we won't get electricity in the west. They're giving us the date of November 15th.
And there are further problems on that island. Wilchcombe said in addition to losing cruise passengers, Grand Bahama also lost significant airlift.
You have the hotels closed, and Sunwing, being a major supplier of guests from the United States and from Canada, they are not flying right now. They've suspended their service until we get the rooms back up. And of course, Celebration, because Celebration contributed significantly to the overnight visit account. With them moving into Bimini right now, that means there's no business going on in Grand Bahama.
Christie said the government remains in talks with Sunwing Airlines, noting that a lack of airlift would have enormous implications for Grand Bahama. But Wilchcombe said there is good news. Silver Airlines, Delta, and Bahamas Air have begun restarting service. With major hotels currently down on that island, Wilchcombe added the Treasure Bay Casino also remains closed, but government is looking out for the workers.
We're going to keep everybody as is, norm, on salary and everything for another 3 weeks. By that time, we should have a new operator in place because the Treasure Bay was coming to the end of a contract in any event, and so we're trying to finalize plans now.
Wilchcombe said it's important Grand Bahama's tourism economy gets back on its feet as quickly as possible. But despite the situation, Wilchcombe expressed optimism about the future.
One thing that we know for sure is that tourism is resilient. It rebounds very quickly. We have to get out there and make sure the world knows.
Following a recent announcement that Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort has pushed its reopening date for later this month, President of the National Congress of Trade Unions, John Pinder, says his union has several concerns regarding union workers. Pinder says he is disappointed in the way the resort's management team handled the matter, noting a large percentage of workers were not rehired during the process. Simone Davis reports.
The NCTUB president said he has been advised that only about 40% of those 600 workers who were made redundant at Sandals were rehired, and he's disappointed that a large number of persons were not. He said he's also disappointed that foreigners were allegedly hired for the same jobs that Bahamians are able to do.
I've already been advised that a number of persons were not re-engaged as relates to employment. I've already been advised of that. I don't know the exact numbers of persons. I'm hearing only about 40% of the persons that were terminated were rehired. I can't say all had reapplied, but I know only about 40%. I'm disappointed in hearing that a number of persons who have replaced those Bahamians are non-Bahamians on work permit. I'm very disappointed in hearing that.
Pinder said the government is also at fault for the handling of this matter.
Very disappointed that the government would have actually approved work permits for tasks that can be performed by Bahamians. And so I'm hoping that they'll revisit that. And I've received an invitation to go to the opening. I saw an invitation, but Secretary showed me an invitation that they were inviting me to come down to their opening, you know. And so I don't know if they think I am that type of person that, you know, I only like to see what work has been done. Right. But I'm not that kind of person you can buy for a bowl of porridge. I hope they ain't thinking that if they ask me to come down, that means this issue goes away. Right. Sunny die. Right. No, so I don't know, you know.
Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort is expected to reopen on November 18th. Pinder says while the union is addressing the concerns of the workers, his aim is to ensure that those workers are properly accommodated to avoid further issues.
Some of the employees had concerns. Some were disappointed in the severance package they have received, which indicates that the Sandals were not in compliance with even the Employment Act. Mm-hmm. And so I know that there's some issues that still has to be ironed out. Hopefully they'll be done favorably, so they'll not lead to any mass demonstrations or any mass strike.
Reporting for our news, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, Member of Parliament for Mount Moriah, Arnold Forbes, is defending Prime Minister Perry Christie's decision not to visit his constituency following Hurricane Matthew. Jasmine Brown has the details in this report.
Forbes was quick to defend the Prime Minister, insisting Christie is doing the best he can given the widespread devastation caused by Matthew.
I believe that the Prime Minister thus far is doing a good job as far as the hurricane is concerned. And again, we've never seen anything like this in our lifetime. So we expect that there will be instances where the Prime Minister will have to go all over the Bahamas because, again, he's the Prime Minister of all of the Bahamas.
3 weeks after the storm passed, some residents of the Centerville constituency reacted to the noticeable absence of their member of parliament. Their comments came days after Christie, who has visited Marshall Road, Andros, and Grand Bahama several times since the storm, explained in the House of Assembly that he thought it best to visit families in the most devastated areas before he visited his own constituency. Forbes agrees.
Well, my thought is he is the Prime Minister, and he's the Prime Minister of all of the Bahamas. Therefore, while I'm sure that he had his people in his constituency, I'm sure that they were there because I've seen individuals who were in there cleaning up and so forth. I'm sure he will get in there, and I've seen him on camera in there already. It will not always be what people, everything that people would like to see all the time, but we have to remember his role. His role is the leader of the entire country, and therefore he has to go to every island, every nook and cranny in these islands.
Meantime, Forbes says he has made several visits to his own constituency of Mount Moriah since the storm.
Well, almost every day since the storm I've been in there, just trying to see everyone, make sure everyone is okay, making sure that everyone has at least a sound roof. There was a lot of roof damage in my constituency. Just trying to make sure that everyone is comfortable again in Mount Moriah. That's the goal.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
When Our News returns, the country could see a unified bus system as early as next month. Stay with us.